All right. Hello, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started here. So, welcome. This is my second live stream for Workout Wednesday, and we're having a lot of fun. So, this week we are going to be doing Ann Jackson's last final Workout Wednesday challenge, which is unfortunate, but she's had a great run, 52 challenges, so it's pretty fitting. So what we're going to do today is we are going to do we're going to rebuild this challenge right here. So we're doing a frequency matrix. So we're looking at basically which projects are, or which subcategories are ordered together most frequently. So I am, let's see if it has not caught up yet. So I'm having a little issues with the Workout Wednesday website right now, so we can't really look at the requirements. But the good thing is I did a little bit of pre-work, and I know kind of what we need to do. So I will do my best to walk us through that. So what we're going to do, basically what we need to do, the requirements say, we'll just use this as our kind of, since this works. But basically we've got all of our subcategories across the rows and across columns up at the top. And what we're going to do is basically have an order count for the number of times that these two subcategories were ordered together. And then we've got, now one of the interesting things that she said is one of the interesting things that Anne requires is we have to use the logical layer. We can't use the physical table layer. So let's go ahead and hop into Tableau and let's take a look at what that looks like. So I've already connected to Anne's data source. She's got a special data source where she capitalized everything, which if you've worked with, if you've done Anne's challenges in the past, you know that she really enjoys all caps, which is nice. So she created one which already has everything in all caps. Previous to this, you used to have to do upper functions across all of her dimensions, but now she's given us this. But what we need to do, this is a recreation of her very first challenge several years ago, and what it in the old world, what we did is we did a self-union of this, and what we need to do is but that's using the physical layer. We can't, so the physical layer is basically when we go in here to open, and we can't really do that, right? So this is the physical layer, and what she said is we need to use the logical layer, which means we need to do relationships as opposed to unionings. So that one took me a little bit to figure out. How do we recreate a union without actually unioning and using relationships instead? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to self-relate this together. So we're going to drag this out again. We'll get our little noodle. There's our noodle. And whenever we drop it in, the first thing Tableau is going to ask us to do is ask us to relate on fields. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to relate this where order ID equals order ID, right? So that initial relationship right there is going to be basically when Tableau does the join in the sheet, it is going to join these two tables together on order ID. And so that's going to give you everything, right? That's going to be a one-to-one match. But what we need to do is we need to figure out a way how to duplicate, how to union everything together. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another relationship. And this one, what we're going to do, and since we have since here we have subcategories over subcategories, we're going to relate this based on subcategories. But the way that we're going to do that is a little bit unconventional. Non-conventional? I don't think that's a word. But so we're going to do this on subcategory But instead of where they're equal, we're going to relate these where they are not equal. So if you think about this, what we're going to be doing is, so the first relationship is where order ID equals order ID, right? And then the second relationship is where subcategory from our base table does not equal subcategory from our right side table. Now, if you can imagine in join in SQL terms, what that would be doing, or what that's going to look like, is we're going to basically have every single subcategory where the order ID equals, where the subcategory is not not a match. So while we're here, we'll go ahead and get rid of a lot of our fields. We only need order ID, sales, and subcategory. So let's go ahead and hide a lot of these fields because we're not going to need them. So we need order ID, product ID, product name. All of these we're just going to hide because they're just going to get in the way and we don't need them. We'll keep subcategory. And now we'll just go down here and we'll also keep sales because we're also going to need that in a little bit. And once I have them here, we're just going to hide those there. And we're going to do the exact same thing to this table. Order ID we'll keep. Subcategory we'll keep. And sales we'll keep. Hide those. So now we should have everything the same right there. All right. So we've got everything built. We've got our data source built. We are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and extract this because if I don't now, I'll forget, and then I'll try to publish, and then Tableau will get mad at me. So I'm just going to go ahead and remember to do that. Tableau is going to ask me where to save it. I just save it in the default. Tableau is going to create this extract, and then we'll be off to the races. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick, just for the sake of making this easy, I'm going to just do subcategory rows. I'm just going to start renaming some of these things so that we remember what they are later. This is obviously not required, but this just helps me kind of keep everything in check. So instead of rows, this will be columns. And we'll rename this rows or columns. All right. So we know we have subcategory on rows and we have subcategory on columns. So let's go ahead and make this full view. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm showing. Yeah, you can. Okay, good. Let's see. But I want you to see me while I'm talking. So let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. Ready? There we go. Now we're fun. All right. So, okay. So we've got this here. Let's hide this. Let's hide. Whoop. Not. Yep. There we go. Let's hide. Let's start to clean up as we go. All right. So, first thing that we need to do, what I like to do, is I like to figure out kind of how to get rid of this, right? So if we go back, right? So she's got all this stuff blocked out. So what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to eliminate where this, right? So we need to eliminate this top one. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically index each column or each subcategory in rows and columns separately. So again, we'll do index row. Yes, thank you, Dennis. How are you? Good to see you. And so we'll call this index. Okay, now Tableau is automatically going to do the default calculation. We could change that, but we could leave that default and then change it every single time we add or do anything with this. But here's one of my favorite tricks. If you know how to use your table calculations and you know what the scope and direction is, every single time you use this, you don't have to do it every single time you use it. You can just go ahead and if you click this little hyperlink down here, it will open a secondary box. This used to be the default. This used to be the only way you could edit table calculations in Tableau. In the newer versions, we have that nice little dialog box that opens and it shows you kind of what's happening in real time. In previous versions, that was not the case. This was the way that we had to do it. So I know, because I'm indexing my rows, I know that I'm always going to be using my subcategory rows. I want you to, every time I use this calculation, I want it to index based on the subcategory of rows. So that's how I'm going to use the compute using of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to do my index for columns. And this is index. And my default type calculation here is going to be subcategory for columns. All right. So before we get started, let's just let's drop these. So I dropped columns in, right? So across the columns, we are indexing. And if I replace that with the index row, you'll see I'm indexing down, right? So if we put these two together, we have index column and index row. If we put those together, you can see, let's see what's happening here. So what I need to do in order to get this, I only want to show, for filtering, I only want to show where the index for my row is less than the index of my columns. So I'm going to call this matrix filter. And I'm going to do index row less than index column. Drag that up into my filters, set it to true, click apply. Let's see if I did the right one. I did not. So I could go back and change that, or I could just do false. There we go. But I always like true, so let's flip this, let's flip that, and then we'll go change this. So I meant to say greater than. There we go. So there's that. So now we've got now what we need to do, so we've got our shape, right? We've got the general shape. Now we just need to go add some stuff here. We just need to go add this. We just need to go add some formatting and color. Now, what is on color and label is the number of orders. And that's just a count distinct of our order ID. So we'll do order count, and we'll call it count distinct. Let me make this bigger for you all. There we go. Count distinct of order, and it doesn't matter which one you use, since we're count distincting. Okay. Now, click OK. We now have a measure here. I'm going to drag this measure and I'm going to drag it up to label. And let's see if that worked. Let's see. Oh, I need to remove measure names. That's right. Okay. Why did my accessories drop out? So I have it. If we look at this, let's look here. Yeah, so my accessories dropped out. Let's see why. Let's remove my matrix filter here. Okay, so 196. Maybe it is equal. Let's see. See, this is where we learn. This is where we learn together. For some reason, my accessories is dropping out. Let's figure that out. There we go. But now, yep. Let's see, 196, 60, 59, 196, 60, 59. There we go. Okay, so I did need that equals in there. So we'll go ahead and let's take a look at this again. Index row is greater than or equal to the index column, right? Okay, so yeah, so that works. So now we have this null here, which this is where the number of orders where accessory was the only accessories was the only one, was the only subcategory that was purchased in an order 196 times. So that's what this column is. Yep, you guys got it. You guys caught it before me. Both indexes equal to 1, yes. So it needs to be equal to. So, all right, let's see. So yes, this column right here is showing me the number of orders where they only had one type of order. So what we can do real quick is we can alias the null. So we'll just go up, right click, and you see what I did there. I went up into the header for this column, right click, edit alias, and I think Anne said none. And then she also rotated this, so we'll go ahead again, right click, rotate label. And while we're here, since we're still fixing this, we'll go ahead and fix the alignment to at the bottom. All right, so now we can also take our order column or our order count, and we can drag it up to color. And Tableau thinks I want it to be a text, still wants it to be a text by automatic, and I don't. I want it to be square. And now we've got our nice little heat map, and she said she wanted me to use color brewer blue and purple, and I have that in my preferences already in my TPS folder. So I'm going to do not blue green, purple, blue purple. That's the one. Click apply, and there we go. And then we'll just do some formatting here while we're at it. Do center, and I think she probably has this on bold. Yep, let's see, that looks good. And she probably also has it on match mark color. Yep, there we go. That looks good. Okay. All right, now let's figure out what to do. And that's basically it, right? Like that is primarily the shape. Now what we need to do is we need to work on figuring out the sales, the average sales contribution per order. So average sales per order. So what we need to do there is we need to create some additional calculations. So we need to create a calculated field. I'll bump this up so y'all can see it. Oh, we'll call this row average sales rows. And that's going to be the sum of sales by rows divided by order count. Right? So that will be the number, the average orders, or the average sales per order for my subcategory on rows. And then we're just going to duplicate that, and we're just going to change that to columns. Column. Like that. And then this will become sale column. Okay, so now we have got those two, and we will go ahead and drop those into our tooltip so we can start to make sure. Okay, I think what I need to do now, all right, because it's going to do that. So what I can just go ahead and do is I can just hide this. And the reason, so let's talk about why this did it. So you saw when I added those, right, it added a null to my rows where it wasn't there before. And the reason that did that is because of the new relationships. We changed, by doing that, because we used an aggregated field from our secondary data source, we changed the level of detail in the view, and that changed the level of detail in the query that the VizQL query does, and that basically added, so it was formerly a left join, now made an outer join because we're changing the level of granularity on the worksheet. So what we need to do is we just need to hide this, right? That's all we need to do. Easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just hide that. So now we're back to what we were, and let's go ahead and let's just confirm. We've got 196 orders and a average sales of 207. Let's see what that looks like. Come on. There we go. Yep, 196, 207. That one works. Let's do... okay, so look. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but very closely you can see that we've got this here, right? We've got these marks where accessories equals accessories, right? But we told Tableau that we wanted to only join where they were not equal to each other, and because of that, but it's still that, again, because we changed the level of granularity in the view, it added those just like it added if we unhide, show the hidden data, just like that. So what we need to do is we need to go back and what we did, if you remember, because we changed the level of detail in the view, that changed our index, right? So this used to be 1, but because we changed the level of granularity in the view, null became our 1, and none became our 1. So if we go back up here into our matrix filter, and we remove that equal, and we click apply, now we're back to where we wanted. So I got a little confused as I was going through that because I remember it worked, and I wasn't going through the right process of steps in my recreation. So that's why it's greater than and not equal to. So because we changed the level of granularity in the view. So Christian asked, is there a reason to choose hide over exclude? In this case, no. In this case, we can do it. We were able to fix it uh, with our matrix filter, and because we were able to do that. Other times, there is definitely use cases for choosing hide over exclude. I'll make a separate video after this showing the differences and pros and cons to using exclude over hide. Hide is very beneficial when it comes to table calculations. So look out for a separate video on that. All right, back to this. We've got 112, 202. Let's look at this 56. Bookcases and binders. We've got an average. We've got order count of 56. We've got bookcases at 550 and binders at 115. Let's make sure that's what that is. 550, 117. We are doing awesome. And 56. So now it's time for... Now I think we can start building our tooltips. Oh, look at that. So if you notice in the tooltips that Anne has, where the none, where in the none column, it says 67 orders with products from subcategory. But if we go over where there's two subcategories, we have a plural. We have a plural subcategory. So we need to account for that when we're making our tooltips. But for the sake of this, we will start creating our tooltips. Bring that over here into my view. All right. We can exclude the command buttons, and that's usually the first two clicks I do whenever I open my tooltip. Exclude, don't include command buttons, and don't allow selection by category. All right, let's do the subcategory rows. Ooh, let's change the default color here. And it looks like she's probably got it on semi-bold. And subcategory columns. Okay. Let's think about that. So if we just do that right there, what's going to happen? Ooh, accessories and none, and I don't think that's what she has. She just has appliances. Okay. So what we need to do, let's create the tooltip header. If null subcategory column, sorry, let me bump this up. There we go. If null subcategory column, then let's see. Oh, wait. Nope, not if null. That's not going to work. If is null subcategory column, then null, else quote, quote, ampersand subcategory, no, subcategory space plus subcategory column. So what we're saying here, if my subcategory column is null, then return null. Else, give me the string ampersand space subcategory column. End. I'll put that in my tooltip. Then what I'll do is I know that I'm always going to have rows, right? And what I'm going to do now is delete that, add a space, and do my tooltip header. Accessories, and appliances and accessories. Right there. See how we're kind of doing some dynamic tooltipping here? All right. So we've got that working. Don't forget the space before the ampersand. Yes, yep. Let's see. And we did. All right, so our next one is the number of orders with products from, and then we need another dynamic tooltip. So let's just duplicate this, and we'll call it TT plural. All right, if is null, then instead of null, it's just going to be subcategory. Is it hyphenated? I can't remember. Let's look. It is. Okay. Cool. So subcategory. Else subcategories. Just like that. Click OK. Add that. And then we'll do space. It looks like she has a different color. Yep. So the number of orders is the order count. And then maybe maybe just regular here. Let's try that. Let's see. Number orders with products from. Orders. Medium. Or regular. From product. But instead, oh, it's all caps, right? Always. Orders from product. And then we'll do our plural. Let's click OK and let's test that. Subcategories from product. Okay, that's not working. Why? Let's see. If is null, then subcategory else subcategories. Let's see. If is null, then just show me that. I guess the other thing I could do instead of this is let's do how about index row, nope, index column equal 1. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. And then that changes that. Okay. So what we did, if we look at that again, for some reason when I just tried to use the if null text field, it wasn't working for whatever reason, so I tried to figure out a different way to do it. And I just did, remember we indexed our columns So if I said, well, if my index of column is 1, then just show me subcategory, else show me subcategories. And that fixed it. So there we have that. All right, let's look at this. Let's look what's next. Average sales contribution per order. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for confirming that it was weird. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what causes that, but glad I'm not the only one. All right. So average sales contributions, right? Isn't that what we're talking about? Average sales contribution per order. Okay. Average sales contribution per order. Okay. Okay. We know that we're always going to have a row, subcategory row. And we're always going to have average sales there. That will always be there. Okay. But we need a dynamic. We need something dynamic for the tooltip where, so I need to return. I could probably just reuse my subcategory null, my tooltip subcategory that I just did, and I just need to duplicate it to return the average sales. So let's do that. All right, here we have tooltip header, and then there we'll have nothing yet. So now we need to do, and I'm just going to know what works. I'm just going to use what I know what works. So if index column equals 1, then null, else average sales column. And I'll call this tooltip sales. And of course, oh yeah, that's right. So I do need to, the ampersand, that'll get you. Okay, let's duplicate this. And what it's actually going to be now is this plus open quote. Nope. Actually going to be a colon right there. And we'll call this, actually what I'll do is copy that. Don't apply it. Go back here to sales. Go here. Paste that in there. And we'll call this tooltip sales header. All right, and I need to add that tooltip sales header. Add that to the tooltip. Go in here, replace that with this tooltip sales header. There it is. Do a tab there to make sure this works. Yes. Okay. But where it's at, it's going to go away. Perfect. All right. So now we'll do tooltip sales. And we'll do if is, nope, not is null. We'll do if index column equals 1, then null, else average sales column end. And we'll add that. And we'll add, yep, tooltip sales. Right there. So now sales, average sales, average sales. I think those are the only ones. We'll go ahead and change the default properties of each of these. And you can change the default properties for lots of fields by control clicking each one. So custom currency 0. Let's see what that looks like here. Bingo. All right. Let's see. Oh, yep. I think the last thing I need to do is do a little bit of formatting here. Remove our borders. We've got furnishings that are, we don't quite have all of our words. There we go. And then we'll go up here to our color, and we'll do a border, a white border. There we go. So now we've got the separation between each block. Looking good. All right, let's see. What else? I got a 504. That's not good. See if it comes back. Hey, we're back in business. Okay, let's look at the requirements. All right, 11 by 9, one sheet. Okay, so let's go dashboard 11 by 9. I create all of my dashboards as containers, and I do it as a vertical box. So I take out a vertical container. Very first thing I do is I add about anywhere between 20 to 30, depending on how I'm feeling, of padding around each side. Then I add my placeholder. Then I add I'll do a 24 title, semi-bold, all caps, which subcategories are frequently ordered together, cap, all black, which subcategories are frequently ordered together. Hover to view average sales contribution by category. Drop that down to, looks like, hover to view average contribution, average sales contribution. Sales contribution, what? By category. There we go. Yep, that looks good. I also add a text box down at the bottom. Add my little credit. Do created by Sean Miller, Hipster Viz Ninja. And yes, that's right, Christian. Do a you live dangerously if you go with 20 pixels of padding, but you feel safe at 30. Or sometimes you just split the difference. We'll call this WOW 2021 week 49, just like that. Then we'll take our data sheet Add that in there. Remove that. Remove our title. And that is all she wrote. Let's just make sure, since I forgot last time. Let's see. Let's double check our requirements. Yep, I did 11 by 900. I did one sheet. Frequency matrix shows the number of orders associated with the cross section of subcategories. Yep, color brewer. Yep, order subcategories alphabetically, making sure that any repeated combinations are white. Yes. You are only allowed to use one data source connection, and you must use a logical data modeling. We did that. We did that, right? If we go back again, we did one, and we have a logical table. Match the tooltips. Look for the language, yes. Make sure the colons, yes. You're not allowed to use any level of detail calculations. We only used table calculations, and we used hers as that. We checked all the boxes. And that is Workout Wednesday 49. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate the support. I appreciate your interactivity and chatting along with me and following along. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. And lastly, I just want to take this moment to thank Ann Jackson for all of her wonderful challenges over the past several years. All 52 challenges have been incredible, very worthwhile, always learn something. I would not understand table calculations the way that I do today if it were not for Ann Jackson's Workout Wednesday challenges. So, Ann, thank you so much. We appreciate you, and good luck in the future. Don't be a stranger, and thank you. To the rest of you, thank you so much for watching. This was fun, and we'll keep doing this. Next Thursday, same time, same place. So I think Thursdays around lunch is a good time. So thank you so much. Hit me up in the comments. You follow me all over. You already know where to follow me since you got here, but go ahead and follow my channel if you feel so inclined, and be notified whenever I post videos. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time. Go forth and viz.